So welcome back to this last video where we are going to do an exercise with the last difficulty. This is the last complication to the CIA strategy. In this strategy, we are going to do borrow or lend and borrow is the same. Why do we care about borrow and lending? Because previously in the last exercises, the last three exercises that we have done, we assumed that we had the money, right? We had the money. But in here, it will be a bit different. Instead of having the money, we are assuming that we can borrow this amount. You, we, or you, or I don't know how to say it. We or you, whatever is doing, whoever is doing the exercise, we can borrow 1,000,000 pesos, right? Instead of having the pesos, we can borrow 1,000,000 pesos. So if you borrow money, it's different than if you invest the money. So that's why we have two different rates, one for borrowing the money and the other one for investing or lending the money to the bank. So that's why we have to be careful when we do this strategy. This is another complication that we are going to face. So let's solve this issue. As you can see, we don't have anymore the problem with the two forwards. We forgot about that. We also don't have bid and ask. We only have borrow or lend. And that's what we need to decide in this strategy. So let's go step by step as we usually do. So the first step will be to write down that we have 1,000,000 pesos, but we need to be careful because now this is the money that we are going to borrow because it says in here, it's money that you will borrow. So I need to calculate the future value of 1,000,000 pesos because that will tell me how many pesos I need to pay back in the future because this is money that I am borrowing. So I will write it like this. Minus this quantity, I write the minus just because I like to see that this is something I need to pay. I'm an accountant, so I like to see red numbers. But you don't have to do it if it's okay. Remember, you don't have to do anything if you don't want it to do it like that. I think I just give you some advice and tips on how to solve it, but you can solve it however you want. But I think this is a very simple way to do it. It avoids mistakes and all that. So writing the minus is a good tip. It will help you to avoid mistakes. I think it's a way to remind you that you have to pay back that money. So I use the same formula, 1 plus the interest rate of Mexico. And here I have to be careful again because of course I have to choose a Mexican rate. It's 90 days, so I don't have to worry about time frame. But am I borrowing or lending the money? I am borrowing, right? Because I am getting the money. So that's 6%. This divided by 360 times the 90 days. Okay, so I have to pay back 1,015,000 pesos. I am done with the first line. So what I have to do is to convert my pesos to dollars. I think here it's extremely easy because I don't have bid and ask and I don't have two time frames. So for the present, I use the spot and I divide 1,000,000 pesos over 20. And this is the amount of dollars that I have. Then I use the future value formula to convert this $50,000. So it will be 1 plus the American rate. But which rate? I have to be careful again. Which rate? Am I investing or borrowing the dollars? I am investing the dollars. When I did this, I borrowed the pesos, sorry, right? So I only calculated how many pesos I need to pay in the future. But this amount of pesos, I already got them from the bank. So I have the pesos. The bank gave me the pesos. I converted the pesos to dollars and I am investing those dollars. So be careful in that. I will select thus the lending rate, 2%. And then I divide this over 360 times 90. And this is the amount of dollars that I have after I complete my investment, 50,250. And finally, I need to go back. And going back is extremely easy because I only have one forward and one time frame. So it will be 21. And I have to multiply this times 21. And I have this amount of pesos in the end. So what I will do is that I will add up these two numbers. Why adding up? Because it's already on minus. That's why I like to write the minus. But if you didn't write the minus, instead of adding up, you just have to subtract this minus this. So I think it's easier just for you to remind that this is money that you need to pay back. That's why it's negative. So in the end, you make a profit again, a profit of this amount of dollars. And that's how you finish this exercise. In here, you only have to be careful about choosing correctly borrow or lending. So these are the three. I wrote it on the same Excel file. So these are the three complications to the CIA strategy. Either you have bid and ask, or you have two forwards, or you have borrow and lend in case that you have to borrow money. So just as a spoiler for next class, we are only missing one more complication, which is what happens if I don't want to use a forward. That is a strategy called uncover interest arbitrage, because you are uncovered, you don't have a forward. But it's very simple. I think I can explain it in a video of 15 minutes max. And then, and this is the interesting part about this partial, we are going to mix complications. We are going to mix bid and ask, maybe with borrow and lend, or maybe we are going to mix bid and ask with two forwards, or maybe everything all together. For this second partial, I'm going to mix only two, I think, either bid and ask and two forwards, or I mean like mixing only two. But for the final, I will mix up everything. Like there will be an exercise, a huge exercise where you will have all the complications. So, but you will have time to prepare. I think next class we're going to continue this. There is this last thing with the uncover interest arbitrage, and we are going to continue practicing in the activity and the homework, doing this mix of complications. What happens if I have bid and ask, and I also have two forwards? Don't worry, do the two simulations because you have two forwards, and just be careful when you convert because you will have bid and ask. That's everything. It's not difficult. It's only that it has more steps, and you can fail in, you can fall down if you are not doing it step by step and careful enough. So it's not that difficult. I think if you understood these three complications, you will be able to do whatever I ask you. So as usual, check the video, check the activity that you have to do, and then let me know if you have any questions on the Zoom session.